Now let us consider this graph. Now this graph is a displacement time graph which is showing the movement of a certain object for 5 seconds. For 5 seconds. So you have to know that the gradient of a displacement time graph represents the speed or the velocity at any given point. So the gradient, remember, it is the slope of the curve or the slope of the line. So from t is equal to 0 to t is equal to 2, from t is equal to 0 to t is equal to 2, we can see that the gradient is increasing. If I draw a curve like this, the gradient at this point, you know that to find the gradient at this point, we draw a tangent here. When I illustrate something, then the gradient at that point, we can also draw a tangent. And if we do some calculations, assuming that we know the coordinates here, the coordinates, we know the coordinates, you can see that the gradient at this point is greater than the gradient at that point. So it means that as we move up, the gradient is increasing. Therefore, here again, from t is equal to 0 to t is equal to 2, the gradient is increasing. When the gradient is increasing, please remember this, gradient represents speed. It means that the speed is increasing. The speed of an object or of this object which is shown its movement with this graph, it means that the speed is increasing. Now, when the speed is increasing, the object is accelerating. Just know that when the speed is increasing, the object is accelerating. Now, let us consider this. From t is equal to 2 to t is equal to 4, we can see that we have a straight line here. Straight line. And if we have a straight line, in terms of the gradient, if we have a straight line, what does that mean? It means that the gradient is constant. This means that the speed is constant. At this point, the object, at this time interval, the object is moving at a constant speed or velocity. The object is moving at a constant speed or constant velocity because the gradient is constant. So when the gradient is constant, it means that the acceleration is 0. The object is not accelerating. For example, if a car is moving at a speed of 80 kilometers per hour, it means that it is not accelerating. But if the speed increases from 80 kilometers per hour to 85 to 95 to 100 to 120, we can see that the car is accelerating. So when the car is moving at a constant speed, it means that the car is not accelerating. Again, at this point, at this time interval, we can see that the gradient is constant, which means the speed is constant. Therefore, acceleration, when the speed is constant or when the velocity is constant, acceleration is equal to 0. Please take note of this. We can calculate the speed from t is equal to t is equal to 2 to t is equal to 4, the speed here. And to find the speed, we just do this point. What is the value of t? It's 4. What is the value of displacement? Is 15. At this point, what is the value of t? Is 2. What is the value of displacement? The value of displacement is 5. So we can use these values to find the speed at this time interval. So to find the speed, just use the formula we use in terms of finding the gradient. We know that in terms of gradient, m is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So you can name your coordinate by saying x1, y1, x2, y2. And we can do the substitution. This is equal to y2 here is equal to 15, y1 is equal to 5 over x2 is equal to 4 minus x1 is equal to 2. And we can see that 15 minus 5 is 10 and 4 minus 2 is 2. Therefore, we can see that the gradient is 5. And it's 5 meters per second. Now we can see that the speed at this time interval from 2 seconds to 4 seconds is 5 meters per second. You just find the gradient. That's the value of the speed. Now, in terms of the last part of the final part of the graph, from t is equal to 4 to t is equal to 5, we can see that the gradient is decreasing. When the gradient is decreasing, it means that the speed of the object is decreasing, or the velocity of the object is decreasing because the gradient is decreasing. Please, you can be asked to find the average speed of this object. Just know that the formula for average speed is equal to total distance traveled over time taken. Now, in terms of the first question, it is saying we have to find the value of p and q. So think of this function as a quadratic function. To find the value of p and q, we just do the substitution. So we say when t is equal to 3. H is equal to, so we say 60 plus 30. In place of t, we put 3 minus 5, open bracket, 3 squared here. So H is equal to 30 times 3 is 90. 90 plus 60, 150. So 150 minus 3 squared is 9. 9 times 5, 45. And the answer is 105. Therefore, P is equal to 105. The value of P here is 105. We can now do some calculations to find the value of Q. We see again when T is equal to 7, H is equal to, say, 60 plus 30, open bracket, 7 minus 5, open bracket, 7 squared, then we close the bracket. H is equal to 30 times 7 is 210. 210 plus 60, 270 minus 7 squared, 49. 49 times 5 is 245. And 270 minus 245 is equal to 25. You can see that Q is equal to 25, and we write 25. Now our table is complete. We can now draw the graph, which is the second question. Now to draw the graph, we are given a scale of 2 centimeters to represent 1 second on this axis. Then on the vertical axis, 2 centimeters to represent 20 minutes. So we have to include minus 20 because it is part of the results here. When t is equal to 8, the height is minus 20. It is negative. Right. Now, in terms of plotting, just do as you have been taught in terms of plotting a quadratic function or any function. So we say when t is equal to 0, h is equal to 60. T is equal to 0, h is equal to 60 at this point. T is equal to 1, h is equal to 85, somewhere here. T is equal to 2, h is equal to 100, here. T is equal to 3, h is equal to 105, 105, here. T is equal to 4, h is equal to 100, here. T is equal to 5, h is equal to 85, 585, somewhere there. Then t is equal to 6, h is equal to 60, t is equal to 7, h is equal to 25. T is equal to 7, h is equal to 25, somewhere here. T is equal to 8 and h is equal to minus 20 at this point. So join these points using a smooth curve. something like this. Now, this is our graph. Now we can attempt the rest of the questions. Now, in terms of C item 1, the maximum height reached by the stone. The maximum height reached by the stone. What is the maximum height reached by the stone? Think of the maximum value of h. What is the maximum value of h? What is the maximum height according to this graph? Here is where we find the maximum height. And we can see that h is equal to 105 meters. So that's the answer for C item 1. Now, in terms of C item 2, the velocity when t is equal to 2, the velocity when t is equal to 2. Right, in terms of a displacement time graph, we have learnt that the velocity or the speed of a certain object at any given time is the gradient. So at this point we draw a tangent here when t, we draw a straight line, and you know how to find the gradient. Just pick any point on the line and use the formula of gradient, which is m is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. You see that the answer is 10. And it means that the velocity when t is equal to 2 seconds, the velocity is equal to 10 meters per second. Please use your graph according to your graph book. Use your graph to do these calculations so that you will find the velocity of 10 meters per second. Now the last question. The time when the stone is at a height of 80 meters. The time when the stone is at a height of 80 meters. Now, we have been asked about the time when the stone is at the height of 80 meters. It means that h is equal to 80. So we want to find the time when h is equal to 80. When h is equal to 8, what is the time? When h is equal to 80, what is the time? So draw this line. H is equal to 80. Just think of those lines like y is equal to 80. It is a horizontal line which crosses the y-axis at 8. So h is equal to 80 is a horizontal line which intersects with the y-axis at 80. So to draw this line, just draw a straight line here. Which is h is equal to 8. Now to find the values. Find the value of time here, and also just consider 5 seconds here and find the value of time here. So we can see that according to your graph, your answer must be 0.8 seconds then here 5, 2. Try to do it using your graph. You see that t is equal to 0,8 or t is equal to 5,2 when the stone is at the height of 8 meters. This is how you attempt questions based on this function.